Hi, I'm HumuHumu, and we're at Tiki Oasis 2018. I'm here with my friend Ron Ferrell. Ron is a mega collector. I've seen a lot of collections of tiki stuff over the years, but I've never seen anything that rivals the weird and amazing, one-of-a-kind stuff that
Don't
Ron
tell my
has.
wife. Actually, she knows.
But Ron is here because he's a film collector as well, and of course he collects South Pacific films, right?
Yes.
What are the boundaries of your collection? Do you also look for TV and commercials and stuff as
yes,
well?
it's everything. I kind of started off collecting mystery and film noir, and I found a couple of old movies that had tropical themes, like Hell's Half Acre was a film noir movie. Don the Beachcomber was technical advisor on the movie, and so there's all these great shots of Don the Beachcomber in Honolulu in the 1950s. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I started finding more and more movies, and then over the years it was, besides movies, it was commercials, TV stuff. So anything that had like tropical tiki, the more over the top, the better too, even if it's super cheesy.
Yeah, maybe especially if it's super cheesy.
Especially because, tropical movies didn't always get awards. There's the South Pacifics and Alone with the South Seas and a few other movies that were big studio, big budget productions, but for the most part they were B and almost C movies and cheesy TV shows. So, but I like all of it, so the cheesier the better.
Do you still find new stuff today, or is it really kind of trickling out for you?
I think I've got it all, and then sometimes either somebody will send me a link to something, or I will actually find like an old commercial from the South Seas restaurant in Honolulu from the 1980s or something. And it's shots of the interior and staff, kind of like the like a Kahiki commercials and things like that. So sometimes I'll stumble on something that's really fun. Or I found one recently called Drums of Taboo. Really bad movie, shot in the Philippines, but there's this one dance sequence where there's a total exotica song in it. So it goes on for a full 5 or 6 minutes with this great song, and it starts off with just the song and some drumming, and then all of a sudden there's this totally perfectly choreographed hula girl dance with it. So it takes away, you've had this really bad movie, and then right at the end here's this, oh my god, this 6 minutes is like the most classic thing you've ever seen in your life.
I find that a lot when I'm watching these old movies. You're just sitting through just this dreck, but then you get to the one great scene that makes it all worth it. Do you find that that's often the case, where you're just...
Yeah.
It's really just, it's not so much about a movie, it's about a scene in a movie.
Yeah, it is, very much so. And I'm like that with either just old movies, I like vintage movies, and usually it's because I want to watch the clothes, the cars, what's on the set, what kind of furniture they had, or what's framed on the walls, everything. So I'll watch the movie once just for the effect of the movie itself, but then I'll go back in and it's like, did you see that car they're driving? Or, that was shot in Ventura County, or it's this area of San Francisco, or, you see a lot of local locales, and all that stuff brings it together too.
Do you rewatch the movies quite a bit? I imagine with so many that you have, there's probably a lot where you watched it once and that's
It's hard to do, but if I'm doing say a symposium, or I'm trying to put something together that's where I have to watch a lot of stuff to weed it down, because I wrote for Tiki Magazine for 7 years, and so I would do the South Seas Drive-In theater movie reviews. So I'd pick a movie that was in print that you could get, and then I would pick a movie that was out of print that was hard to find. So I had to kind of weed through movies and say, oh, okay, this one's in print, and then I have to make sure that it was still in print, or if it was still out of print. Because a lot of movies I would have that were out of print for a while, and then by the time I was ready to review it, I find out, oh, it's been released. So I'd have to change what I was doing. So when I was doing a movie review, or if I'm doing a symposium, then I have to do a heck of a lot of research. Like for Tiki Oasis, I'm doing a symposium on the golden age of South Seas cinema, and so I had to really go through the weeds to get through all the good stuff and weed out some of the bad stuff. So some of the bad stuff is so bad it's good. I like that too.
Do you know of some really great example movies that happen to be available streaming right now, where people would be able to watch them conveniently? Do you happen to know?
There's a few movies, like Jungle Heat's a great movie because it has Lex Barker, who played Tarzan, and it's all shot on Kauai. A lot of it shot at the Cocoa Palms, and so that's a fun movie. Les Baxter did the soundtrack for it, so
Nice.
you can get that easily. And it was actually piggybacked. I can't remember if it was Voodoo Island or something else, where they shot a horror movie with Boris Karloff at the Cocoa Palms and on Kauai, and then 2 days later, different cast, Les Baxter music also. They did a whole different movie, and they did that again with She Gods, A Shark Reef, and Thunder Over Hawaii. They were shot back to back. Roger Corman was the director, and then they just thought, we're already here, so let's just bring in a different cast and
Do you
shoot a
think
whole
some of
nother
this
movie.
was just the crew getting an excuse to stay in Hawaii as long and as frequently as possible?
If I was shooting a movie, I would be shooting in Hawaii, Tahiti, Cook Islands, wherever, and like have a total excuse to stay somewhere tropical.
Yeah.
So.
What are some of your favorite movies that you think people should see because they're just bonkers?
Like South Seas movies?
South Seas bonkers movies.
I would say South Seas Massacre, which has tons of tiki images. Sven used it in a documentary that was filmed by a German and French TV crew for its over-the-top acting and stuff. There's a little toplessness in it, so don't let your kids see it. That one, there's a couple more that off the top of my head I can't think of, but that one's pretty good. And Kona Coast.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, with Richard Boone. Like when they go in the bar and everybody yells, Mai Tai, Mai Tai, Mai Tai. You know, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Well, great in its way, but
Oh, it's terrible.
yeah,
It's absolutely
it's a bad
terrible,
movie,
but it's
but so-
fantastic.
yeah,
It's
and
available on DVD.
yeah, it is out on DVD now. But there's this whole undercurrent of the drug scene, because I think it was done in 1968. So this whole, we're going to kidnap women and get them hooked on LSD and do crazy things, and so what could be more tacky than that?
And it was intended to be a TV show. They were hoping to make it a pilot, and they had it was like a movie of the week, but then that all fell apart, and it wound up being commercially released in theaters briefly because they didn't know what to do with it.
Yes. So there was this great movie. It was called Hellship Mutiny. It was John Hall developed it for TV in the 1950s. It was originally called Night, K-N-I-G-H-T, Night of the South Seas. He was going to be this adventure guy that's doing stuff in the South Seas. TV didn't pick it up, so they took it, edited it all together, and it's a fun movie because it's got the tiki god they see on the island looks like a coconut monkey. So I always wondered, is this where the coconut monkey came from? Is this tiki god that they have in the movie that looks like a monkey? So there's all kinds of crazy movies. I'd have to sit down with a list and look at each one and tell you which I thought was the best one.
Yeah. What's the one that you return to again and again that you love?
Probably none of them. I like Hell's Half Acre because it's got the murder mystery. It's all shot on Hawaii. Elsa Lanchester, who was Bride of Frankenstein. Key Luke, who was in the Charlie Chan movies. And then just so much of the scenes, there's probably 15 minutes of it shot at Dawn the Beachcomber, which was renamed Chet's Hawaiian Retreat in the movie, but you can see tons of Dawn the Beachcomber.
Oh,
so that's probably one I see probably the most of all of them.
What are you really excited to share with people in your symposium here this year?
When I first did it, I did almost like a history, and I thought, this is really boring. Do I really want to watch, a bunch of people that may not be familiar with the subject, and I don't want to be like teaching a history class, so a little bit, but I have to make it kind of fun. So I've kind of gone to showing a lot of clips, edited things a little bit, and I'll try to bring out some really interesting fun facts about like John Hall and his relationship to Creature from the Black Lagoon, and just some fun facts that I think people will enjoy. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
Well, thanks for chatting with me, Ron. It's always fun.
Well, thank you.
And I love learning about something. You can't help but learn when you're around Ron, because that's what happens when you collect. You don't collect stuff, you collect information too. You're kind of collecting stories when you're collecting stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works. You can't help but have those stories spill out. And so that's
Yeah.
why it's awesome to hang out with Ron.
Well,
a lot of
thanks.
stories.
Thanks.
This has been Tiki Oasis TV. I'm HumuHumu. This has been Ron Ferrell. See you next time.
Aloha.
Aloha.